Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our press conference. I have a pretty desperate announcement. 52-year-old Suzie Kind is presently in a Toronto hospital, and she desperately needs a liver transplant. Her condition is very critical, and I'm afraid if she doesn't get her liver soon, she's going to pass away. And we're going to do everything we can to bring attention and hopefully give this mother a fighting chance to survive. Want to introduce the guests beside me. To my right is Sarah Kind, the youngest daughter, and to her immediate right is Sherry Kind, the older daughter. And we also have the father that's sitting in the gallery. Before I start, I want to mention something about this issue, organ and tissue donations. I've been sitting here arranging press conferences over a dozen times in the past number of years, and I've been faced with this kind of situation time and time again. You know, where a family's finding themselves in a very desperate situation because they're afraid an organ might not become available to help their loved ones survive. And this has been an ongoing problem, not only in this province, but as well as Canada. I just want to sort of refresh everybody with some background because I know I'll be regretting this as I'm walking along Highway 2 if I don't. Back in 1999, I had an opportunity to make some recommendations to the government at that time, the Ontario government at that time, to Premier Harris. And I recommended him the urgency of developing a program that will improve the rate of donations. And I put it in these words. I told him, we all need to have the audacity to believe that we can save everyone on the waiting list. That's the type of attitude that we needed. And that's what we have to believe that we can do. Following the government, we also made the same recommendations to the Chrétien government, as well as the Martin government, and other provincial governments across Canada in the past number of years. And we kept repeating the same thing, to have the audacity to believe that we can save everyone that's on the waiting list. It's been 7 years now, and I'm afraid to say that there hasn't been that much done. And, you know, once again, it has to always take something like this to bring it to everybody's attention. How important this is, how important this issue is, how important the steps that are needed to be taken to address this issue. It's not going to stop here where we're going to get families such as the Kind family right now that are facing this situation. We should all have the audacity to believe that we can save everyone, and there are steps that could be taken in order to do that. Before I get into those steps, I'm going to have Sarah Kind talk a little bit about her mom's background, and then it'll be followed by Sherry to talk a little bit about their situation.
Our mother received blood which was tainted with hepatitis C several years ago, and as a result, she's in this condition right now. What happened was the hepatitis C doesn't affect the liver right away. It's a progressive disease. And I think it was in about 12 years ago or so, what happened was she found out that she does have hepatitis C, and after several years, they put her on the waiting list. And in December of 1999, she received a liver transplant. However, no one knew that the hepatitis C will affect the new liver so quickly. And after a year, it was discovered that the hepatitis C has scarred the new liver. And now she was placed on the waiting list again to get a liver transplant. And we didn't realize that it's going to be so fast for the new liver to be affected. And now she's in the hospital. She's been in the hospital for over 2.5 months waiting for a liver transplant. And the things that have been she has to go through is unbelievable. The doctors are doing everything that they can, and the nurses are doing everything that they can, but
it's not only up to them. This has to be done by you. This has to be done by us. We have to get together and join forces and try to save everyone. We have to. This is important because there's a lot of people in this situation right now. There's a lot of people that are waiting to be saved. A lot of people waiting for an organ transplant. One person can save 8 people's lives, and we have to do something about it. We have to help. My mother has been suffering with infections in her stomach, with bleeding, with bubbles forming in her legs. It's unbelievable to the extent of what people go through when they wait for organ transplants, and we have to do something about it. We could save people's lives. Doesn't have to be this way. We can help everybody in that hospital, and they don't have to go through what my mother is going through, what all the other people are going through. We have to get together and help each other to save all these lives, because it's up to the government to make that decision, and it's up to all of us together to make this happen, that people will be saved. And 80 people don't have to die like they did last year, and 40 people that died so far. This has to be changed, and George has the way to help and make it happen.
Over 1,750 patients right now are waiting for organ or tissue donations. Why is it that there has to be so many people waiting for an organ, hoping that today will not be their last day?
How many people would have to die until something is changed? How many people have to lose their lives, lose their families, lose their children, their mothers, their fathers? Everybody. Why? Why does it have to take so long for someone to make a difference in this world? It has to be changed, and we have to do something about it now. Not in 10 years, not in 15 years. It has to be done now.
The longer she's at the hospital, more and more of her organs are failing. Right now she's on hemodialysis because her kidneys are not functioning properly. And they're not functioning properly because of the liver failure. The more she's at the hospital, the more her chances are that she's not going to make it. And we want her to be around for many years. We want her to see us getting married. We want her to see us having kids. And if we don't do something to change this, she's not going to be around.
And it's not just her in the hospital. That's our mother, but it could be someone else's mother. It could be your mother, or your mother, or your mother, or your brother, or your father, your sister. It could be anyone. And it has to do with all of us together, changing this and making it happen and making a difference for everybody's lives. This is what we have to do.
Thank you, Lise. The recommendations that we made over the years, and, you know, we're a little happy to see that some things are done, but it's still not enough. For instance, the DCD cardiac death donations. The first one was performed in Ottawa a few months ago. We need more of that. You know, we need hospitals right across the country utilizing that procedure, and we need to look at possibly making some kind of national mandate so it doesn't take one province to another province to communicate their progress so that they receive it 6 months later. We should have some kind of national mandate when we're incorporating these things so the whole country can benefit from procedures like that. We also need to look at the live donors. We cannot keep having people come and volunteer as being live donors to save somebody's lives when they can't afford the personal expenses that it takes to become a live donor, and some of them are up to $5,000–6,000. We made the recommendations to put aside a couple of $1 million for people that are taking the time and effort, wanting to help somebody, but these are working people. You know, they can't afford the travel, the accommodations, and they want to save people's lives as well. And this is probably the most important part. Since 1999, we've been promoting to at least test the system of presumed consent, opt-out, otherwise known as the Spanish model, which I've been repeatedly saying over the years that it's been working very effectively in 23 countries. And over these number of years, it hasn't even been tested here. And to know that we might have a system in front of us that can effectively help address this shortage so that we won't have to see situations like we're seeing here today and not being tested, to me that's a disgrace, you know. And why has it been taking so long? So I am urging, once again, the provincial government, every provincial government across the country, as well as the federal government, to test this situation out. You know, we've been hearing statements that, well, I don't think the public's going to go for it. You know, people are going to start going. You know, I still haven't seen any research or any evidence to prove that. So when statements are being thrown like that, you know, let's at least test it. Let's take the steps in testing it. It's not going to be the complete answer, but it's certainly going to be a step in the right direction, because if we can all get in the frame of mind of having the audacity to believe that we can save everybody on the waiting list, we can make it happen here in Canada. Spain had a 94% success rate in 2004, and they're shooting for 100. Why can't we do the same here? You know, so I want to begin with the question and answers, but before I do that, I want to explain what we're doing right after this. After this press conference, we're going to go out to the front of the building, and Sarah and Sherry and their dad are going to light the torch of life, which, if some of you recall, was carried by Christopher, the young 14-year-old boy that needed a liver transplant across Canada, and I'm happy to say that he's doing okay today. And the family's going to have the torch lit, and we're going to make a prayer that their mom received this precious gift, and that we can help save the other 4,000 people that are waiting. And then right after that, I'm going to start walking from Queen's Park to Ottawa, and hopefully we can get enough attention to make a difference. So with that, if there's anybody that has any questions.
Can you talk about what the Spanish model is exactly?
Absolutely. In Spain, it was roughly about 20 years ago, they first of all made organ and tissue donation a priority. And they wanted to figure out, you know, they had the same situation as we did here. They had a very low rate of organ donations. And the king and many other people had decided that they make organ and tissue donation a priority, and what was the best system, how to do that. Well, after doing a lot of research and what have you, they came up with a system where everybody became an organ donor unless they opted out. It was a social system. And I went there to get more information on how that got developed, because of course something like this doesn't happen overnight. And I found out that, you know, they went through a lot of steps to do it, but eventually after it got passed, that's when the success rate and the improvement of organ donation started. And so 22 other countries adapted a similar system, and they had similar success. And, you know, it's about time that we tested it here to see if it works here.
George, the purpose of the march, you were actually raising money with the march, or just to draw attention to the push for presumed consent? What's the purpose of the march?
It's just to bring attention. And it's both to presumed consent, Sean, and as well as I mean, my main priority right now is to hopefully see Suzie Kine receive her gift. And so whatever it's going to take, how many more drums we got to bang or get people's attention, that's the main priority. But we're hoping that through that attention, we can once again have people look that we still have this critical shortage, and we have the capacity to improve this. And what is being done to do that? And we need to look at it. I think the answers are there now, and politicians are aware of it. The public's becoming more aware of it. The media's, So let's start acting. And I'm inviting everybody to have the audacity to believe that we could save everyone.
Are you going to test the opt-out system?
Yes. While I'm walking along Highway 2, I'm making a planned stop in Kingston at Queen's University. And for the past few months, students there have been organizing and coordinating a project which we're calling a opt-out simulation. So basically what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get as many students as possible, and we're shooting for all of them actually, 15,000, to agree to participate in a simulation. The simulation would mean that at a certain date, it would be announced that everybody would be an organ donor, and then there would be a system where they would be able to opt out, and it'd be as real as they have it in Spain. So it's only a simulation, but all the students are going to act as if it were a real system. And we're going to get researchers to evaluate the results. And let me tell you, if it's less than 17% of the population that's going to be opting out, then we're ahead of Spain, because that's the number of people that are opting out in Spain, 17%, and they had a 94% success rate. So do the math, So if this simulation is successful in promoting the opt-out system, then our next step would be to simulate an entire community. And I think from simulating an entire community, we'll be able to have a really good idea whether this opt-out system could work right across Canada. So we have a plan. We have a plan, but we don't have no money.
I just believe that the problem is that there are a lot of people that would have signed their donor card, but they just don't want to have to take that step. So if we have an initiative where everyone is automatically a donor and needs to opt out of it, I do believe that there will be a lot of potential donors that would otherwise not sign just because of the fact that they have not thought about it,
or they don't have the time to do it. It's basically, I understand you can't force someone to be a donor if they don't want to be. But if you let everyone be organ donors, they have that decision that they could take themselves out of that list, out of the registry, and not be organ donors. A lot of people, they don't even know what organ donation means. There's people that would call you and ask you, how do I donate my organs? It has to be more publicized. It has to be more out there. People have to be aware of the importance of organ and tissue donation. And I think that this could help. And I don't just think, I am pretty sure that this is going to help, and this is going to make a difference for everybody. We have to be able to make people more aware of it. And George, I think what you're doing is amazing.
Sarah and Sherry? Or
Sherry and Sarah.
Sherry, S-A-G-R-O-Y.
R-R-Y.
And Sarah the usual way?
it's actually S-A-R-I-T spelled.
Sorry, say again. S?
S-A-R-I-T.
You pronounce it.
So let's start acting, and I'm inviting everybody to have the audacity to believe that we can save everything.
Sarah.
Yes.
Great, Sarah.
There was,
She's actually the older one. She's 28, I'm 26. But it's okay.
We good? Okay, if there was any one-on-ones that needed to be done outside the hall, otherwise, we were going to start making our way to the front of the building, where the family's going to prepare to light the torch. And I also wanted to acknowledge MPP Peter Kormos in the audience here today. As well, oh, sorry, I didn't see you, Mr. Levac. As well as MPP Dave Levac, who we supported the bill that he brought, by the way, to make it. Yes, thank you, thank you. All righty, okay.
So let's start acting, and I'm inviting everybody to have the audacity to believe that we can save everything. Yes, while I'm walking along Highway 2, I'm making a planned stop in Kingston and Queen's University. And for the past few months, students there have been organizing and coordinating a project which we're calling a opt-out simulation. So basically what we're going to try and do is we're going to be more ahead of Spain, because that's the number of people that are opting out in Spain, 17%. And they had a 94% success rate. So do the math, you know. So if this simulation is successful in promoting the opt-out system, then our next step would be to simulate an entire community. And I think from simulating an entire community, we'll be able to have a really good idea whether this opt-out system could work right across Canada. So we have a plan. We have a plan, but we don't have the money.
I just believe that the problem is that there are a lot of people that would have signed their donor cards, but they just don't want to have to take that step. So if we have an initiative where everyone is automatically a donor and needs to opt out of it, I do believe that there will be a lot of potential donors that would otherwise not sign just because of the fact that they have not thought about it, or
It's basically, I understand you can't force someone to be a donor if they don't want to be. But if you let everyone be organ donors, they have that decision that they could take themselves out of that list, out of the registry, and not be organ donors. A lot of people, they don't even know what organ donation means. There's people that would call you and ask you, how do I donate my organs? It has to be more publicized. It has to be more out there. People have to be aware of the importance of organ and tissue donation. And I think that this could help. And I don't just think, I am pretty sure that this is going to help, and this is going to make a difference for everybody. We have to be able to make people more aware of it. And George, I think what you're doing is amazing.
Sarah and Sherry?
Sherry, Sarah.
Sherry, S-A-G-R-Y.
R-R-Y.
Sarah, the other one?
It's actually S-A-R-I-T.
Say again, S?
S-A-R-I-T.
That's Sarah.
She's actually the older one. She's 28, I'm 26. But it's okay.
Good. If there was any one-on-ones that needed to be done outside the hall, otherwise.
Happy.